live and call for the code. I don't know what that is, but that's why we're going to talk to Kate right now. Today is World Environment Day. Good morning, Kate Parker. Good morning, Kate. Thank you for being on the show with us today.
Good morning, Larry. Thank you so much for having me.
Where are you? Where are you calling from?
We're calling from Atlanta, Georgia.
How's the weather up there?
Hot, but I think you know that all too well. It's that time of year where, we get those summertime thunderstorms, not as much as you guys, but we're getting into that time of year.
So when I went to the website that was provided for us for this interview, it shows that you are trying to provide 100 million liters of clean water to people around the world.
How incredible is that?
That is amazing.
It's necessary. Freshwater scarcity is not something we think a lot about here in the United States because we have our taps in our kitchen that we go and we turn on the water. And for the most part, you're going to have clean, fresh drinking water.
Yeah.
Climate change is putting even greater pressure on our freshwater supply around the world. That is already a problem.
Explain that. What problems are already happening?
We already have 2 billion people, that's billion with a B, that are currently impacted by freshwater scarcity. So we have that problem already going on. In addition to that, we've got 2/3 of the world's population that will be living in water zones that are threatened by the time we get to 2025. So that's freshwater scarcity, 2/3 of the global population in just 5 years. 3.4 million people die every year from waterborne illness. I mean, it's an incredible problem, and it is being worsened by climate change.
So we had a story this morning indicating that Miami is ground zero for some of that.
Absolutely. Miami's freshwater supply comes from the aquifer that sits right below it, and sea level rise and subsidence there in Miami is causing saltwater intrusion into that aquifer. That is a major problem. And as you know, in Florida, you guys have all kinds of water issues. Anytime that we see the temperature increase, we start getting those harmful algal blooms. The cyanobacteria starts to pop up in Lake Okeechobee and then go out the Caloosahatchee River and then out on the East Coast as well. Then you've got the red tide that you just contended with for a year, and all of that is really made worse by warmer temperatures.
So what is the code, and what does it mean when it says call for the code? What is that?
So Code and Response is this incredible initiative by IBM, and IBM is pledging, get this, $1 million worth of resources to charity water as well as the Nature Conservancy, and that is where we're getting those 100 million liters of water going to those people that need it the most. And all you have to do, check your Weather Channel app. Checkweather.com, which, by the way, today is called the Water Channel because we want...
Oh, really?
Oh, how fun.
Something to fix it. Response is just this really cool initiative that pairs developers, coders, people that you wouldn't anticipate with natural disasters and trying to encourage them to create solutions for that.
And water is so instrumental in our society. It's not just about bathing and drinking, but you do everything with water, from manufacturing to sending men to the moon.
Are you still there?
Hello?
Hi. I'm sorry, I lost you there for a minute.
Oh, okay. But water is all encompassing because you not only use it to take baths or to drink, but you also use it in manufacturing. You use it for pets. You use it for science, sending men to the moon.
Absolutely, and you wouldn't think about it, but a single pair of jeans, you're looking at 1,800 gallons of water is what it takes to make that, and that's enough fresh water to last a family of 4 months.
Oh my gosh.
So what about some of the areas of the world that are prime spots? Like, for example, Miami is named, right? Some of the like right here where we're sitting right now, we're only 100 feet above sea level. And I know Miami is probably 30 feet, or if that, right? So places like New Orleans, for example, are we going to see changes real soon? As maybe not as far as flooding the homes, but as far as the drinking water being contaminated?
That is one of the biggest issues. Anytime that we have flooding, if you think about it, the flooding fills the streets. Well, what's below the streets? You've got your sewer systems, and when those flood, you're contaminating potentially your freshwater supply, especially whenever you start seeing your water treatment plants flood or any sort of chemical plant, anything that is going to contaminate your freshwater. Flooding is a major issue. We think a lot about as drought being a major contributor to our freshwater scarcity, but flooding can be just as bad because of the fact that we're contaminating that fresh water and limiting our access to it.
But then you also have like the water bottling plants, for example, that are drawing water constantly, and they seem to say in their marketing that the water will never go away, that it's okay.
Well, we know that that's not the case. We have a planet full of water. Unfortunately, we can't drink salt water. And so our freshwater resources are limited. And although our heavy downpours are increasing, that's because our atmosphere is holding more water. When our atmosphere holds water, that's less water than we are going to see in our lakes and our rivers. And then it's going to come all at once in these major rain events that can cause flooding like what we saw during Hurricane Harvey.
Yeah, so that explains a little bit more than we realized. So part of the problem is there's more evaporation, and it's just staying up there longer, and then when it comes down, right?
It does, and the science completely supports that. You guys know it's hurricane season. I know that you in Florida are more than aware of all the threats, and I know that this causes some anxiety and some stress going into the season. And that's what we're looking at. The reality is that our hurricanes will contain more water, and they will be more intense in a changing environment.
And when we visit your app or your website today, you're also going to make donations for people in need?
That's right. All you have to do is literally check your weather. Go to your Weather Channel app, openweather.com, check your forecast, and you're unlocking clean water for those that need it.
Oh, okay.
Also go to thewaterchannel.org to learn about your personal water footprint and the impact that these charitable organizations that we're working with are having around the world.
I love the water. I love leaving water footprints, Robin.
Yeah, exactly. Especially the nice clean rivers.
It says here that it takes 35 gallons of water to make a single cup of coffee. What? Explain that one.
Well, that has a lot to do with the growing and the producing and the fact that we're roasting those coffee beans are being shipped. Yeah. Everything that we do has probably a much larger water footprint than you would initially think. And a lot of that has to do with our food and our water, like we talked about. But even blue jeans, whenever you're buying a new pair of them, maybe consider, do I really need to buy this new pair of jeans, or are the ones that I have pretty good? Or even potentially, can I get another pair from a resale shop?
Thank you for what you're doing. I love this message, and it seems like a relatively easy one for us to kind of just amend our behavior a little bit. That might go a long way if enough of us do it. So go to weather.com. Go to the Weather Channel website, and you'll see right there what we're talking about. Kate Parker, thank you so much.
Thank you so much, you guys.
All right, we'll be right back.
Broadcasting from the Paddock Mall Studios, this is WOCA, Ocala, Gainesville, The Villages, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
Ocala, Time Out Billiards and Buffet has opened. Now you can enjoy an American fare buffet or sip a cocktail from the full bar.